Zenless Zone Zero version 2.0 comes with many new changes, some great and some awful. With a new region and lots of content to explore, there's a lot of value in this update, especially with it being an anniversary update, so there's a massive amount of content to choose from. However, it falls short in many other ways, and feels like a downgrade in a few others. So in today's review, I'll be answering the question, should you play Zenless Zone Zero version 2.0, or should you pass on this update? Well, let's get into the review and find out. I've always enjoyed the story in each version for Zenless Zone Zero, so how does the latest installment hold up? Well, honestly, it was a massive disappointment. The pacing was all over the place, the plot twists were predictable, and the immersive storytelling wasn't done very well, with there only being two very short comic book sections, and a majority of the dialogue just dragging out needlessly. Now, I do understand that this first chapter is just build up for the next big arc, but I do feel like it was rushed and has lost its unique touch. Don't get me wrong, this chapter has some great points, such as the new characters and the cutscenes, but other than that, it's just mediocre and a step down from the previous installments. That being said, I do think the gameplay segments during the story have greatly improved and feel more interactive. However, I feel like the game has lost part of its identity with the TV system being completely removed, and the fact that us being proxies now just feels irrelevant to the whole plot. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate the new story exploration, but it does just completely remove the aspects of the game's true identity, and I'm not really a fan of that whatsoever. Despite this though, the last out of the story is pretty good. It wasn't mind-blowing, but it did leave me with a little bit of hope for the story's future. With an update this big, there's bound to be a few issues on release, but I did not expect the game to be a borderline unplayable even on PS5 and PC. I've had many issues with frames, lag, occasional screen flickering, phasing through walls disappearing, getting glitched onto invisible walls, much longer loading times, and many other issues that just made the game borderline unplayable at points. I tested the game on both performance settings and high graphics mode on PC and PS5, and I had the same issues regardless. I've also asked others and have been told similar experiences and stories. Now I think I can excuse these issues as a live service game takes time, and the devs need time to patch everything. But despite this, I have to give it a fair critique without being biased. I also want to add that this is not an internet issue, as whilst playing my ping was not a problem, nor has it ever been. Plus I clean up my PS5 every few weeks, so there's no issue there either. I believe it's just a case of poor optimization and a lack of testing before the update went live. One of my main complaints with Zenless previously was the lack of side content other than endgame, with there being zero side quests for multiple updates and a lack of exploration value with zero chests to find. But 2.0 fixes this, with many chests to find during exploration and a couple of side quests. However, it does not fix everything, as side quests are part of one big chain quest and do not give you enough rewards. However, some do give you coins which you can exchange for polychromes and cosmetics in this new store. On the other hand, there's so much to explore, with you now being able to enter the hollow zones at any time, that come with many chests and puzzles to find, and even daily collectibles to find. These are pretty big areas within the hollow, and this is exactly what the game was missing, and that's exploration value. Even if the puzzles are way too easy and the exploration is straightforward, it's at least here and engaging enough. However, other than these zones, the new city is pretty empty, with no normal side quests, no proxy work, and only 6 chests in total with no Mew Mew quests. There may be some new mechanics in this area, but it doesn't really add too much, because the main area just feels empty compared to New Eridu. Even still, I love this addition, even if I'm not a fan of them replacing the HDD system or removing our proxy work. I enjoyed the exploration quite a bit, and there's some really cool stuff in these zones, such as daily resources which are used to upgrade your shrine, a few puzzles which are cool to see even if they were way too easy. There's these areas where you need to clear ether corruption by finding the source and killing or destroying it. There's also these chest mimics that really caught me off guard when I encountered my first one. Overall, the exploration is very enjoyable. Onto the events that start off with the actually great anniversary reward. We got 2 free S-rank selectors, one for standard characters and the other for standard weapons, and an additional 30 pulls. However, I'm not a fan of Hoyo's anniversary marketing. They always say it's 30 pulls like with Honkai Star Rail, but we already get 110 pull from logins every update, so it's actually 20. Don't fall for their scummy tactics. Either way, actually decent rewards for an anniversary, especially for a Hoyo game. As for the events themselves, I'm actually blown away because wow, they've really put everything into these events. Firstly, we have this relaxing slice of life cinema event where we can watch movies with some of our companions and even some NPCs, which I was surprised by, and these interactions are really wholesome. We have to pay attention to context during watching these films and also choose the right dialogue options. It's almost like a romance dating event. It's quite cute, I won't lie. Or we could go in solo and analyze a movie in a rhythm-like game mode. Secondly, we have our basic combat events, which are always a decent addition, but nothing new, again a good addition though. And finally, we have the greatest event of all time, the Bang Boo Mecha event. I was shocked when this was revealed, and even more shocked when I got to play it because it is super fun. And all of these events really just add so much to the gameplay. I was really hoping some of these would be permanent because they're amazing, especially the cinema one, and there's a lot more interactions I would have liked in the cinema event. But again, this is a great start and a great step in the right direction because I wasn't really liking how the events were going in the previous updates. So absolutely brilliant job here, Zenless team. I wanted to quickly speak about this as I wanted to add some honorable mentions in this update. This is not using a script, by the way. First, we have some new endgame updates. These are always great as it just adds more value to doing endgame, and it's just a whole lot more content overall. And one other cool thing that I just want to mention is the fact that the people of Yunkai Summit have their own dialect. And I'll just play a little bit of a clip of this so you understand what I mean.
係啊，多數你冚幫就再冇得一整。
你哋係咪上有位飛地啊？當轉冇揾用，但你哋入成啦。
唔使，放我哋喺暗面就得啦。每樣嘢你接我哋嘅。
And I just find that clip quite cool because not many games do this, especially gacha games, where other characters will speak real-life languages and they will have their own dialects and things like that. It just adds so much realism to the world when there's different areas around the planet that of course have different dialects, speak different languages, have different accents. And I think that's awesome, especially because that clip that was just played there is Cantonese. So these characters, they use Cantonese as their dialect, which is very cool, and I think it's awesome to include a real-life language in the game itself. It caught me off guard, and I was honestly shocked by it, but it was great. And for the final topic, I wanted to do something a little different. I want to speak about the environments and character designs, because honestly, I love the vibes of the whole region. Firstly, the Hollow is stunning. It's got this industrial look to it, but with an aquatic floral-like vibe. It's really pretty and fits right in. There's also Yunkai Summit, which just looks amazing. It's still got that retro urban look to it, but this time it's bustling with a mix of both Japanese and Chinese culture. It's genuinely beautiful and I can really appreciate the visuals. I'm really glad that Zenless has not lost its aesthetic because usually in a 2.0 update they always go to this like Asian-like region and the art style completely takes a 180 and changes. But gladly that has not happened here. It's blended a mix of urban and Chinese and Japanese vibes. It looks beautiful and I think it's actually perfect. The character designs are also great and they fit the new region perfectly. The NPCs just look amazing. I just look at how the NPCs stand out. They are so detailed and some of them look better than the playable characters, which is just hilarious to me. But it also goes to show they put so much effort into each and every one of these NPCs designs, even the basic ones. As for the playable characters, I think so far they look amazing. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for character designs and new locations in this region. Zenless Zone Zero has such a beautiful aesthetic that uses a blend of many different art styles, and I'm really happy that out of everything that has changed, this hasn't, and I don't think it ever will, and I really hope it doesn't, because it's beautiful. I just love the blend, and I love the art style. Overall, I enjoyed my time with Zenless Zone Zero 2.0, but only with the new content. I'm not a fan of the story direction and the changes they made to the game that removed part of what made the game stand out originally, like the TV mode and unique story formatting, with there hardly being any comic book scenes. The proxies also no longer do proxy work, and I'm not too much of a fan of that. However, I still have hopes for the future despite this, so we'll have to see what direction the story takes in the future. And even if the gameplay makes up for my lack of interest in the story, I cannot excuse the abysmal performance of this update. So I'll be giving Zenless Zone Zero version 2.0 a 74% on the rev meter. Keep in mind that this is a gacha game rating. If this was a single player game, I would be rating it around a 55 to 60% because you can't exactly compare the quality of a gacha game to a game that took years to develop and is a complete product. Of course, single player games are most likely going to have a higher quality than a gacha game majority of the time, so this is why the rating might seem a bit off to you. If you go check out my Claire Obscure review, that's like a 100% rated review. This is 74%, it's not anywhere near on the same level as Claire Obscure, it's just a rating for gacha games. So whenever I'm rating a gacha game, just keep in mind that the rating is completely different to a full single player game. If you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate any support, and if you have any feedback, then let me know in the comments, it really helps. And with that, I'll be seeing you in the next one. Thank you for watching.